Hello, everybody. Hello. It's been a minute. Well, the other day, was it yesterday? Huh? Yeah, it was yesterday. I did a little short with you, I think. Either yesterday or the day before anyway. But yeah, it was me and you. That was cool. You took me outside and spun around in the sun. Yep. But I have some things I got to talk about, and let me get to it. No problem, Mr. Cloud. Everybody stay happy. Okay, all serious. Being serious. This is going to be my attempt, at least, to do a third part to where I started the other day on reflections, what I've been thinking, contemplating, how I wanted, or how I thought I wanted to be able to say things and express myself. And when I say I, in that moment, in that fashion, I'm talking about the lowercase I, that is my ego, that is my human personality, the mind, kind of stuff like that. And, but the capital I, this is something from a book that I've read a couple of times now, and I had ordered it last year and read it here in the past so many months. The Mystical I by Joel S. Goldsmith, the mystical capital I. And the capital I is referring to the Christ consciousness, that part of Christ that's in you. When the Christ energy, the source of creation. But I'm better understanding that whole scenario, that whole take on things. So I'm realizing, as I was watching the second reflections video that I uploaded yesterday morning, just now, I was trying to get a sense of where to start. And I think I realized that these videos, it's not the small I that I'm letting come out of me and express these things. I feel like it's almost like these thoughts were marinating for the past month. And I keep saying it, the past 2 weeks specifically, in larger increments, it's been about a month. I mean, this is stuff that goes on for me quite often, but it's been really the main center point of my thoughts and what me as a human in this body, this spirit in the body, is trying or wants to do. But what I'm realizing as I'm making these videos, even back to the first one that I uploaded on Wednesday, is that what's coming through is the spirit is helping me as I'm making the video put out the right words, I think, so it's like I'm trying to take a step back and let that part of what guides me come to the forefront here. So what I wanted to say, the reason I started off with my happy cloud here is because I've been mentioning, I think I mentioned it in the first video, and I definitely mentioned it yesterday, and I never went in complete detail. I mentioned something a couple of times now about my lack of motivation with my action figures and toys and things. Well, what I had thought, I'd say sometime in the past week or something, there was a day or maybe even two where I was seriously, my mind was wanting to tell me that maybe I should completely just box all of these action figures up, put them all up, or even possibly reach out to all my action figure friends on Instagram and on YouTube and all that and say, hey, I got all this stuff. I'll make a good deal on it, maybe send some of it out to some of my friends for free. And if anybody wanted to buy some of the things I have, all these these figures and stuff. But But I kind of can't. I realized that even before I talked to my friend the other day, that I hadn't talked to in a while, because in our discussion for a 3.5 hour or a little more discussion, because we hadn't talked in so long, it was all over the place, but it always came back to the center because we were talking about I was talking about my personal walk every day with my personal relationship with the Spirit and God, and whatever it is that you particularly call it, but I know what I'm talking about, and I'm trying to use words that you can kind of get an understanding of what I'm meaning. So, because a lot of times I'll say God, and I'll say for lack of better terms, but because I don't believe our human minds can truly grasp the full concept of a eternal thing that's always and always will be, no beginning, no end. That's because we're in a finite body. We have a finite mind when we're here in the physical, so we're limited on some things. But when I was sharing that brief moment with him about the idea of maybe getting rid of all this stuff, he quickly, he reiterated to me something I had already kind of thought and came to the conclusion of. But that was verification for me that the Spirit was also moving through him to let me know, hey, hold up right now. Don't let the adversary trick me into giving up on something that is a fun thing for me when I do have the motivation to do it and everything. I think what it's been going on is that I was questioning whether, like I keep saying, I'm focused on what's my main priority in life right now. And I've been saying it over and over. My personal relationship is what I'm working on the most. I'm doing a lot more studying. I'm trying to stay offline as much as possible during the day, other than once I've made a video, I upload it. Once it gets uploaded, I'm sharing it to my social medias. And I may be on social media a little bit during the day to try to hit like for a few people and reshare some of their stuff. But for the most part, I get on there, I do what I got to do in the early morning, I get off, and then at some point I make a video, I upload, then I share. And then I try to reserve later in the evenings for when I may get online for an extended period of time, whether that be on YouTube or social media platforms where I'm socializing with a few people. So, and it works out better that way for me. I'm glad to be back more in that routine, because the more I stay in the physical moment of what I can do on any given day in the physical world, my mental health and spiritually it all around just is, my attitude's better. I feel like it's healthier. But that being said, so what had been really weighing heavy on me was about those action figures. And I think it is the lowercase I, that human part of me wanting to whisper to me, the mind wanting to say, why don't you just give up on everything? Like, because it could start from there. Okay, let me get rid of all my action figures and then focus only on just sharing this type of stuff on the channel, which is mostly what I do, is share readings and my thoughts and my experiences spiritually. But I see in the distance where it is going to come back. Because when I was discussing with Cracker the other day, when I was discussing with him, and he agreed, I said, I think what the Spirit's telling me is that if I maintain my focus on what I'm saying my focus should be on, eventually as I progress with that, my personal relationship with the divine, other things will fall into place. Motivation will come back for things that I used to love to do that was enjoyable, but I've seemed to just gave up and don't even want to mess with it. It'll come back, because when I'm focused on the main thing that is most important, then I'm opening up doorways for other things to come in. It may even be that I find new things shown to me to invigorate me, to inspire me, to help me be more creative. So that's where we're at on that part. So I'm thinking eventually, and I'm just kind of going with how the Spirit's flowing and how it's laying out things as I go along here. So eventually I would like to get back to the routine that I had started last year at some point. I think it was earlier, very early in last year. I did kind of have a routine going where a couple of days a week I was trying, like on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I was trying to dedicate at least one video on a Tuesday and one on a Thursday for either action figures or talking about comic books or something that's fun for me, and I like to share, because it don't have to always be serious all the time. It's just that my mind most of the time is on the deeper levels. So the thing I think I'm discovering is don't rush it, and don't beat myself up, because I'm not in a competition with my friends that are very good at what they do with their action figures. They're very great world builders. They're great customizers. And when I get a chance to watch my friends' videos from their channels that's exclusively all about their world building and their action figures, that inspires me and it brings joy to me. So I'm really happy that I haven't made a decision on my own. I try my best to step away and let certain things decide themselves by the way the spirit is moving. Because sometimes I've rushed into thinking I knew what was best, only to find out I should have followed my intuition in the first place. For instance, like my toe, if I just went with the doctor that I had already been seeing and that cut those things out of my back, the cyst, and is probably going to end up doing my hernia, and at one point was going to work on my knee because I had that wound, but the knee finally has healed and he didn't have to go in there and do a deep clean. See, right here used to be where for over 3 years I had a scar there that never would heal. It would start to heal up and then it would fill up, and then every few days it'd bust open and it'd be raw again, and then it'd try to scab over. And we finally got it to heal up, and he didn't have to go in there and do a deep cleaning. So now that's pretty cool. And I'm just having a good feeling today overall. I really liked the reading from the Don't Sweat the Small Stuff also today. It was, to try looking at our problems as potential teachers. And I think this goes back to some of the conversation I had the other day with old Cracker. About not worrying so much, working on staying in the moment, staying focused on this moment particular. Like the only moment I have is the moment I'm in. As soon as that moment's done, there's a next moment, but we're never promised another moment. So, because it kept coming up about, even if we go from the biblical aspect of like, it says there, and then not just in the Bible, but if you just going on a strictly biblical sense, how many times does it say, what can worrying do for you? It's not going to add anything to your life. Actually, worrying potentially is taking away from the length of time you may have here. And I think that worrying and getting caught up too much in stuff in my head or whatever is detrimental to the overall mission that I've been given in life. I was telling him the other day, and I'll say this a lot, from time to time, I've mentioned it in videos, is that there's a lot of people in the world that walk around aimlessly and they're like, well, what am I here for? What's my purpose? Feeling like they're living such a mundane life and they don't know what the heck they're here for. And they go through these ups and downs. And I spent a long time being that way, well, not really, because I was always a searcher, a seeker. But, earlier in my life, about 25, from 25 on, a lot was starting to be revealed to me. And over a several year period from 25 to about 30, a lot was revealed to me on my potential, what my future could be, or what I had the potential to accomplish here on earth. And it wasn't I took it serious, or I thought I did, but I was living a type of life where I wasn't walking firmly in it as much. And I was just all over the place. Where a few years ago, I finally realized I have to, if I want to do what it is that I can potentially do here, and it's not I, the lowercase I, it's the capital I, the Spirit, the consciousness of God, of Christ moving through me, using this human vessel to do whatever it is that can be done while I have a moment here. And that's a good feeling. Like, I hope the lower me hopes that what the Spirit has been doing through me all my life, but especially in the past few years leading up to this last month specifically, is getting across to some people, because I see that it is. And that's a great feeling too, to know that this is moving in the right direction as long as I keep focused and I keep listening more and following instructions. It's like in the verse that I said yesterday on the second video about reflecting, the scripture, what was it talking about? I just watched that and I read it. About someone saying, I'm going to go to this place and be there for a year and make money and all this. Well, how does anybody even know what's going to be going on an hour from now? And ultimately, Greycloud, I cannot do anything fully without the Spirit, without it moving in my life, without me paying attention and working towards whatever it is I need to be doing. For me to know what I need to be doing and not do it, that's a bigger sin than not ever coming to knowing it all. At least if I never knew it all, I may still be doing wrong, but it's not as bad, because once you start to know a little bit about what it is you're doing, or what might be that you should do, or in your heart that the direction you're going is wrong, and you deliberately keep going back to the wrong direction, that's kind of worse, because you've stepped over that line. And it's just part of living, I think. I struggle with several things. I don't remember, a little over, a month, still, again, sober from alcohol after the last time that I had a bump in the road and chose to drink for 3 days. But I don't beat myself up over it. I'm learning better discernment. Big Kahuna's showing me every day different ways and how to handle things if I listen and I pay attention. Practice, it's a work in progress. So I think that's probably long enough. We're looking at an almost 20-minute video here. So I think I said enough. And once again, I'll probably have to go back at some point and watch this video to kind of get an idea where I want to start the next part. I'm not even really happy with the way that I decided to title these, but it's seeming that it may turn into something I do fairly regular. Like, I'm going to continue doing this until I feel I've reached a point where a lot of what's been going on in the process of thinking and all these things that have been revealed to me coming out. But I think this morning I got a sign that this could be a continuing thing where even if I don't just keep on doing it, when I get to a certain point, the next time I've had a lot of stuff to process, I come back to it. It'll be kind of a series on my reflections and what's going on in my personal walk with Spirit, with the big Kahuna, with God, So that being said, I think this is a good note to end on, and I hope you've enjoyed yourselves here. I hope you're having a good day. And if you're going through something, remember it will pass. Hit the like button for me if you can. Subscribe if you hadn't already subscribed. Think about it anyway. And until next time, I'm old Greycloud, Mr. Cloud, Sage of the Eternal Moment, over and out. Signing off here. Ditto, everybody.